If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option, as Sori says. 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the Village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, and shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener.
Yes, dear listener. International Women's Week.
International Women's Week.
Shout out to DJ Ben for bringing some recognition where recognition is deserved.
Yeah, you girls, you guys been holding down the fort for quite some time. Shout out to the big homie
We've been
Ayo.
populating the world.
We were just talking about the big homie Ayo.
Oh.
Sorry, CISO. CISO who said Ayo. We were just
in my mind, I was like, oh, and then I'm like trying to translate. I'm like, who is Ayo?
Yeah, CISO is.
We were just talking about you. Very true.
He's about to make us all very famous.
Yes. Very popular.
Shout out to CISO.
Yeah.
Making me sound better than I deserve. Oh, look, Ian asked you the following.
For bringing to life what is actually...
Sorry, did Vin show you the rhythm section I did for 14?
Did you?
Yes, my solo.
Yes, I did,
He was the one that put the thing on top of the solo. That was him.
Oh, my word. Okay, so Vinny's playing it, and, like, it was one of those, like, it had so much energy to it. Okay, back up. There was a candle on the bathroom floor.
Oh, yeah, here it goes.
It was very melty in there. It was a 3-wick candle, very large candle.
It was a very melty candle, y'all.
And Vinny went to show me something excitedly, and when he turned around, he kicked that candle. I don't know why we had it on the floor.
Yeah, I don't know why it was on the floor.
He kicked the candle, and wax went all over the toilet, up the wall, all over the floor. Friggin' everywhere.
Everywhere.
I just covered my face because I was thinking about all the work that's going to be to scrape it off. Anyway, so I'm like doing it in phases. I like scrape the whole toilet down, scrape the floor down.
Women's work.
Long story. Shout out to Women's Week.
Yeah,
so Vinny's out there playing the song, and like I felt so friggin' energized when that was going. I grabbed a credit card and started scraping all that wax off.
Oh yeah, I was like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, he's like, what are you doing in there? I was like,
I wanted
really
to,
motivated.
Yeah, the stuff you put on top of it, bro. Honestly, like it was inspiring. It did make you want to like go hurt some folks, like in a good way. You feel me? You did a great job. You did a great job with the rhythm section. We're going to get our fancy spancy producer, and he's going to put some stuff on top of it and all that jazz. So, yeah. Shout out to our president. Y'all know it's International Women's Week.
Yep.
But do we have any intros for
we do.
What we're about to do right now?
We do.
The man of the hour. It's Women's Week, dear listener, but the man of the hour is upon us.
So the band's name that we're first doing is Asagraum. They Crawl from the Broken Circle is the name of the song. It's a live video. You got that up?
Yep.
He says, this is from the DJ Ben. I'm finally ready to reveal my March 5th International Women's Week stream.
Gang,
2
gang.
bands that play extreme metal made up of entirely female members.
Talk that shit, ladies.
Okay, Beals of black metal, Damsels of death metal. Sori sometimes complains that there aren't enough female vocals in some songs. All the vocals are female here, but I'm not sure she meant like this. These ain't no damsels in distress. These are is this bells? How would we say? Beals of black metal and
bells. These are the bells of black metal and damsels of death metal.
Woo! This is
called
all
alliteration, dear listener. You could have been a preacher, Ben.
This all-female black metal band hails from the Netherlands. Their original drummer was actually from Norway, but now all the band members are Dutch. For the first 2 songs of tonight's stream, you will be treated to a live performance. Okay, so the first song, They Crawl from the Broken Circle, Asagraum.
They crawl from the broken circle. And you are correct. I know you didn't know this, but my solo was actually in E Locrian minor.
Oh.
Locrian minor.
Oh.
So, for all you noobs out there who don't know the instrument and the guitar, your boy here is a savant. Because I was playing in Loki and E, and I have no idea what the hell that is.
It sounds important, though.
So there we are. There we are. All right, guys. Song number 1. Let's do this shit.
Let's do it.
Asagraum live in Rosenheim, Germany. Let's go. The name of this song is
They Crawl from the Broken Circle.
They Crawl from the Broken Circle. Women's Week. All right, Asagraum. You guys are up first. Let's hear it. This is very spooky. This is very spooky. What's the...
Oh, did you get the timestamp?
What's the timestamp?
1:45. Sorry.
Okay, so it's about to start.
Yep, and we're going to 7:30.
All right, guys, here we go. Here's the song, They Crawl from the Broken Circle. This is a live video, dear listener. I will have the lyrics up after the song is done.
Mm-hmm.
We will have the lyrics up after the song is done. Also, let me know. What was just in my head? What was just in my head?
I know what's in your head now.
I'm looking at all these notes. Okay. They crawl from the broken circle. They crawl from the broken circle. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Go.
Oh my God.
That's why I thought you were like, ugh.
Jeez. Amy in this bitch! Amy in this bitch!
What's up? That's right.
Hail these ladies. Okay, that was
All right, that was They Crawl from the Broken Circle, Asagraum.
Asagraum. I don't. They're from Germany, so
Norway, I thought.
Or Norway. Right.
Norway, they're all Dutch, he said at this point.
All right. Thoughts. What you got?
Okay, Ben, you're right. They're not the type of vocals I scream for, but I love the fact that this entire band is all made up of females. From the vocals to the drums, the guitar, and everything.
Why is that so important to you? Why is that so important to you?
Because it's a male-dominated society, and I appreciate when we get some burn. That's really honestly what the answer is. I love that. And okay, the first thing that I was thinking when it started was because she had I liked her paint job and stuff, and I was thinking, I wonder if we ever got to interview these people. My question would be, does your family did they transition well with it, or are they against what you're doing? Are they all for it? Do they come to the concerts? I'd love to know that.
How would they be against it?
Well, my parents would not have been okay with me. I mean, and certainly the lyrical content, depending on who their parents are.
If her parents, it's funny because you say if her parents are religious, there's going to be a problem. But then it's how she would not know these things unless she grew up with them, almost, unless she did a Nergal thing and just went out of her way to try to. You see what I'm saying? Unless she went out of her way to try to learn this stuff.
I hear what you're saying.
She's talking about Leviathan, Belial, Lilith, Aharam. I don't know who that is.
Yep.
So it's she must have had some sort of religious background.
You might be correct. The only thing is, I've personally known women that have been raised in a certain religion. Specifically the person I'm talking about, she was raised Christian, and then she wanted nothing to do with it, and now she's into completely ancestral worship and stuff, and she knows all kinds of stuff about it. You would think that she was raised in it. So I don't know. Maybe this person was.
You said she was raised in a Christian house?
Yeah.
Right.
And then she went away from it.
That's what I was saying. Her understanding who Belial, Leviathan, Lilith.
Oh, you're saying she might have gotten those from.
You had to have some sort of Judeo-Christian background.
Oh, I was thinking I thought you were saying if she was just raised in this sort of. I don't know what you would call this. I don't know if this would be.
Well, I mean, she's part of the Western world, right? So she was. By the way, hit that like button, you losers!
Like and subscribe.
Otherwise, no season 3.
Yeah.
And none of our overhyped music.
Yeah. Never mind that we might be bluffing.
Get those likes up.
Get them up.
This thing used to count likes. It doesn't anymore. What happened to it?
Oh no.
Maybe
there's none to speak of.
Yeah. So I just think that
I see what you're saying. I thought you were saying that okay, forgive my ignorance here, but I would have said maybe she was raised in a pagan sort of satanic environment, and that's where she was getting her information from. But you're saying it's Judeo-Christian based off some of the things that she's saying.
Yeah, I just think that, I'd like to do some sort of religious survey of this kind of Satanism, whatever brand of Satanism, in a context where, in an unreached context where there's no Christianity. So let's say there's no Christian archetypes in that given culture.
Yeah.
What does being on the bad team look like?
Ooh, that's interesting. Does your shoulder still hurt, or can I?
Because obviously Christians aren't the ones who invented the concept of good and evil, right? Yeah. And so Cat Williams said something to Joe Rogan that was pretty interesting. Because Joe Rogan was I don't know if there's a devil or not. And Cat Williams says, let's not even do that. Let's just go, do you believe in good and evil? And Rogan goes, well, yeah. And so Cat goes, okay. So you just take the logical extremes of good and evil, and that's how you get God and the devil. Which theologically has some holes in it. If Perkinos was here, he'd be able to point them out. But I think that's a pretty good, ground level way to express it.
Yeah.
Right? There are. It's so funny because, I keep talking about all these UFO disclosures and things like that, and it's almost universal. And it doesn't matter what time, place, region of the earth, whatever, it doesn't matter what it is, they all say the same thing about communication, which is that it's telepathic. Okay, so you've got these beings who are able to communicate telepathically, which means that they're sentient, they're intelligent. And then the question becomes, okay, if our culture at the secular level is now accepting that there are beings that can inhabit other dimensions and communicate telepathically, and I'm talking about George Knapp, David Grush, Jacques Vallée. These are all secularists. They're not on our team at all in any way, shape, or form. But these are looked upon as experts in. I mean, David Grush literally testified on the floor of Congress about 6 months ago about this shit. Okay, so if we accept that, then what's to say that all of them are good?
100%.
In the way that we would perceive good. And then if you say, okay, that's true, there might be good ones and there might be bad ones. It's like, okay, so now we have interdimensional beings who can communicate telepathically, some of whom are benevolent, some of whom are malevolent.
That sounds familiar.
So she's saying, arise Belial, arise Leviathan, arise Lilith. These are all demons, or powerful divine beings. So Leviathan isn't necessarily a demon. Leviathan is basically a mythical sea monster that represented chaos that the Babylonian gods struggled and fought with, sometimes to a stalemate. While Yahweh is portrayed Yahweh's portrayed as playing with Leviathan, while the other gods are like fighting him like for dominance over the universe. Leviathan is played with in the ocean, and it literally basically says Yahweh made him to play with him. So Leviathan is this great, crazy sea monster that represents chaos that even the gods have a hard time with. And so it makes sense that Leviathan would be taken on in the moniker in a lot of Satanist kind of iconography, because even the gods struggled with Leviathan. So Leviathan wasn't a god. He wasn't on anybody's team. He was on his own team, and he was powerful, and the gods had a really difficult time with him. And so it makes sense to adopt Leviathan if you're talking about spiritual rebellion and power and sort of this ultimate understanding of Satanism, which is like making yourself your own ultimate god. Leviathan would kind of be the ultimate sort of guy, because he has no loyalty to any of the gods, and they're all scared of him, and the sea is his domain, and you really, the gods basically leave him alone, aside from Yahweh. But Yahweh kind of does this. He trolls like dark intelligences a lot in the Bible. Like, he trolls them heavy. He's kind of petty. I don't want to say he's petty because he's God, but he's like, man, you guys out here fighting with this dude, like I'm wrestling. I'm playing with this dude, like in a sandbox, bro. Like, we good. Arise Lilith.
Maybe it's like, when you're like so above a situation that like you have the extra time to toy.
Right.
Like, that's how I see it.
Right.
I'm like, he's doing that. He just, he's above it all.
Vin, how do you know Leviathan was mythical? I don't. That's why I went like this. I'm not sure. Because here's the thing, right? Like, you could literally have a prehistoric or a now extinct sea creature. Or, hell, we know more about space than we do about the ocean.
Depths of the ocean.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I think it's silly to say that there's no such thing as a Leviathan. When I say mythical, what I mean by that is, I'm sure they witnessed some sort of beast, whatever, in the sea that is probably no longer extant. And then you kind of build legends around it to try to make sense of what you're doing. But no, I don't know that Leviathan is actually... That's a good point. And none of us do, by the way. Like, one of the things that's really interesting to me is like this whole thing about unicorns. Like, people laugh when they say it's like it's a horse
With a horn.
With a horn. Like I said, a butterfly.
Yeah, it's
is
crazier.
way crazier and more magical to me than a unicorn. Like,
yeah,
the things
well,
that
maybe
people...
they're thinking Pegasus. No, the people say unicorn.
No,
Pegasus, that one's harder.
That one's harder. Thing, okay, but still, think about it. All you're doing is smacking two wings on the guy. You're not completely changing what he looks like. Go from a caterpillar to a butterfly. Even Pegasus makes more sense than that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's just straight up magic. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what scientific term. Caterpillar to butterfly is straight magic. And I agree. Like, we don't. How do you know that Leviathan isn't real? Oh, I don't know that. We don't know this stuff. Like, it's really interesting with secular. It's like, they'll be like, you cannot know that there's life after that. It's like, all right, I'll give that to you. But by the same token, why are you mocking all these other things that we also cannot know?
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm like 80-20. I'm 80% that actually something like that. First of all, because the Bible talks about it. So obviously I believe that it's true in that regard. But is the Leviathan of the Bible the same as, like, our idea of what it is? I'm not sure that they're completely the same thing. I tend to believe that they are, but yeah. When we see how, like, just fish in the pond react around us and they go away from us and they're just like little tiny fish, like, what is a big giant something or other going to do? Like, why would it come toward us?
Yeah, and then when are we allowed?
So much that we haven't explored.
When in the modern world are we allowed to believe something? When the white people in the white suits tell us that it's real? So all these people have been telling us they've been seeing flying saucers and shit for fucking decades. Yep. Actually, hundreds and thousands of years, actually.
Right, yeah.
Cave drawings, yeah. Oh, we've been mocking them. Now all of a sudden the white folks in Congress said that they're real.
Michelangelo had in his painting.
Now the white folks in Congress say it's real, and the lab people say, oh shit, now we're allowed to believe it. So before it was a joke.
Yep, your life is over if you
saw it. Before it was a joke, and now it's like, oh yeah, like our Air Force. Yeah, we've got an entire yeah. So I don't know about Leviathan, and neither does anybody else. He could very well be, and also we don't know how consciousness works, particularly in these animals and whatever the hell. So you cannot know. Right. You cannot definitively say that there is no creature named Leviathan or that fits the description of Leviathan or whatever it was. Yeah. And obviously, as in our cosmology, we do believe that there are lowercase g gods that could struggle with a being like Leviathan. Mm-hmm. So the other thing is, and I do believe it's possible to see, and I do think that you are seeing lowercase g gods. And that's one of the reasons why they're completely skirting all the basic laws of physics that we have. So that even though these people are looking at it, they can't believe it because they're like, no, nothing can do that. See what I'm saying? It's like, okay, maybe you're going to have to expand your worldview. So that's a long answer. I have no idea that Leviathan is actually mythical in the sense that he didn't exist at all and that he did not have combat with supernatural beings who may have wanted that area for supremacy. And he said, nah, I'm good here. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
And what portion of the ocean is not discovered yet? Like, it's a big, giant portion, right?
Oh, yeah, the vast majority of it.
So it's like, if the vast majority of it is undiscovered by us, then wouldn't the most intelligent thing to do to say it's, it's likely that it could be there?
Agree. Also, imagine reverse magic from a beautiful egg of Vin's mom. He appeared. Bummer. Fuck you very much for that. It very much hurt my feelings. Okay. I really like this song. It's a very thought-provoking song. All I will say, though, is that if at the secular level we are accepting that there are beings that can communicate telepathic, and again, even with Elon stuff, like the whole chip thing that he's doing, Neuralink, he's trying to get us to be able to communicate at the telepathic level.
You know what? I have to say, give me the comment section, or maybe I'll put up a poll. What percentage of people get a random thought in their head that they didn't initiate? Correct. So doesn't that mean there's already some version of telepathy that's already happening that we just don't understand yet?
Correct.
I mean,
correct. Or that our fathers and our mothers understood. But now we're a teen. We're the Western world. We're in our adolescent phase, and when you're an adolescent, you can drive the car. You've got access to the knowledge of how to drive a car, and you're also going to crash it and kill everybody on the road. Like when you're an adolescent, and that's where we are in the Western world. That's why we let loose the bomb. It's like, holy shit! Look what we can do. It's like a child looks at stuff and says, "Oh, it can do this. Therefore, I must use it." It takes wisdom to say, and we're not there yet in the Western world. Psychologically, we're adolescents. Okay, so one of the things about being an adolescent is that you get You get brought into worlds that you're completely not familiar with, and you get eaten for lunch. So you want to be a 16-year-old and you believe that your mom and dad are so dumb, blah, 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 and you're going to go out in the streets because those are where your real friends are. But then people that you run into, they're all older than you. They got their own agenda for you. And you are 1 out of 5,000 that they've seen, and they're gonna run game on you. How do you know that's not happening to you spiritually? You start communicating with all these people because you're done with Christianity, you're done with the Western religion, blah, blah, blah. You're going to go and strike out your own path. You start communicating with Belial and Leviathan and all these demons and all the way. And here's the thing to me, and it was funny because I was watching this on Joe Rogan. One of the theories about these UAPs, these aliens, is that Joe Rogan was like, they somehow feed on your soul. I don't know how.
Right. Yeah.
Joe Rogan is saying this sitting across from Jeremy Corbell, who's not a Christian, not a whatever, but they're just talking about the various theories. And one of the theories was some of these species of beings seem to be very interested in the emotional, psycho-spiritual life of the people that they're interfacing with. So be very careful when you're trying to call and look, I don't care what anybody said. Some of you guys have done some of these things. Like you've invited some of these consciousnesses into your consciousness, and you do feel a rush of power. And you're not going to say it because we're in a secular world, so that sounds kooky. But you do feel a rush of power. I would say to you that I'm not going to invalidate your experience. All I'm going to tell you is that shit comes at a cost.
Exactly.
And just like there's bad neighborhoods and bad dudes in white vans, okay, that go after little kids, there are bad intelligences that when a person opens themselves up to it, and the only way they can do it, yes, they're more powerful than us, but the currency in that dimension is intentionality.
Yep.
The physics. The overarching principle, meta principle that guides the physics of that dimension is intentionality. And that's one of the reasons why these ships can travel to places at 1 trillion miles an hour, because they're operating at the speed of thoughts and intention. So in that world, the physics, all of that gets translated into pure intention. Here in this platform, we have to do things to mediate our intention. So if I want to hurt you, I got to ball up my fist and I got to do all these things on this physical platform in order to express and accomplish that intention. But what if we were in a dimension where what you intended to do and what happened were the simultaneous event and there were no mediating factors that you would have to use? That's the realm people are getting into when they're talking about invoking these consciousnesses. I don't believe that you're going to get the real Leviathan if you call out the Leviathan. But what you are communicating to that world is that you have the intention to collaborate and be dominated by these beings. So it doesn't need to be literal Leviathan. It just needs to be, there it is.
Yep.
She said she wanted me to come. I'm going to come.
Yep.
So I'm just putting that warning out to you guys. Some of you guys, this is all fun and games, but one of y'all know what I'm talking about. Not something to play around with. That's all I'm saying.
The other crazy thing too is that the scripture says, for freedom, Christ has set you free. So in the realm of Christianity, there's freedom from sin, there's freedom from being addicted to things, for being not just addicted to substances, but addicted to lifestyles, addicted to negative things that bring destruction into your life. So there's freedom from all of those things in Christ. And he says, for freedom, Christ has set you free. Like that's part of the message that Jesus brought, is the freedom. And right at this beginning of the song, she says, arise, Belial, break my chains, feast from my veins. Like right from the beginning, right off the jump, she's admitting that she is under bondage. And so that to me was,
and at the
was
end of the
crazy
song,
to hear.
At the end of the song, she says, heal me.
For the devil will heal my scars.
The devil will heal my scars. And this is the problem, is that the... Yeah. I'm not going to say that the devil is the reason you have scars in the first place, because that's not always true. All the bad things that happen to us cannot be located by the devil. Traditionally, the Christian church has said the world, that is the world system, capitalism today, whatever, the world will fuck you up. The flesh, that is your own sinful nature, will fuck you up, and the devil can fuck you up for sure. But when she says, the devil will heal my scars, he is definitely, you cannot say the devil's the cause of all of our scars. But people following the ways of the devil are absolutely the cause of every scar we have.
Right.
And so the devil is kind of like one of those guys, man, that will... I wish everybody could spend a couple years in the street to see how intricate these games go. I mean, the schemes that people, they will, for example, one of the classic, methods used by a pimp is when he sees a new girl move into the neighborhood, he watches her for a little bit, and if she doesn't have a dad around, he will then send one of his boys to start fucking with her. Pushing her around, calling her names, all types of shit. And then he'll come in and rescue her.
Oh my God.
Right? And then she's at the corner 2 weeks later. Right? So he orchestrated the entire situation.
Yeah.
And then
Jesus.
Look, the devil will heal my scars. I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. I'm not one of these people. Listen, if you go that direction, I'm not going to lie to you and say it's going to be bad for you from the beginning. That's not true.
Mm-mm.
There's a reason people interact with those beings, man. You will absolutely get some sort of benefit. The only thing I can tell you is, because I've seen it firsthand, the price that you pay is always going to be too much.
Mm-hmm.
It'll always be disproportionate.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously somebody needs to hear this.
Yep.
Hell says, my blood is full of various meds.
Oh my God.
Belial would be sick for a month, at least if he dared to taste my blood. Sick like me.
Jeez, oh, that's so sad. Jeez.
I'm also your friend, and so is she, and that's the real reason Belial don't want to fuck with you.
Yeah.
Because they fuck with you is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this that's an interesting one. Seeds of Iblis, Morbid Muhammad. That is very interesting. That's a band that's not playing in Saudi Arabia. 9.4, dear listeners. Shout out to the girls.
Not my style of music. 8.6 for me. Wait, no, 8.8.
As Tina Benina said, some things come with too high of a price.
100%.
100%. Words of wisdom. We will be back on the other side of the break, you beautiful people, with more speculations about UAPs, sickness, things of that nature, producers, life, love. Commercial break. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone, bitches.